What is going on, guys? Levi Adams here with Team TC, and there are 809 Pokemon in the Pokemon franchise. Every single one of them is someone's favorite, so I wanted to ask the question, can we use them in the TCG? Today we're going to be continuing our look at every single fully evolved Pokemon and how they stack up in the TCG standard and expanded metagames. Welcome back to Dex. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Dex. Today we're going to be taking a look at Fearow. Now, Fearow has some interesting gimmicks in the TCG. You can decide whether or not it's good interesting or bad interesting, but with this video I kind of wanted to change up the format a little bit. We're going to be taking a look at the card, and we're going to be skipping over the strengths and weaknesses slide. We'll kind of just talk about that when talking about the card in general, and then we'll go into the deck list and then my review. Figured it was going to make everything a little bit more bite-sized, a little bit more enjoyable and easy to, not easier to comprehend per se, but like just easier to digest. So taking a look at Fearow, our best option exists in the expanded format, was released in Phantom Forces. This Fearow has 90 HP, it's a colorless Pokemon, stage 1 of course, and has 2 attacks. Looking at the second attack first, Drill Peck for 60 damage, 3 energy, not good, don't want to take a look at it. But Fly, its first attack, for 2 energy, doing 40 damage, flip a coin, if tails this attack does nothing. Not a strong start there, Fearow. But if heads, prevent all effects of attacks including damage done to this Pokemon during your opponent's next turn. This is awesome. Immunity is great. If you can't be damaged, it forces your opponent to try and damage something else, or it just forces them to do nothing, which is super duper cool. So our strategy is going to revolve around this and just trying to make it work as best as possible. Of course, you're only doing 40 damage, which means that your damage output is low. It's going to make games a little bit grindy, but let's see what we can do to sort of mitigate that a little bit. Taking a look at the deck, we're going to be playing a Jirachi-based build focused around Jirachi, using its ability to search out trainer cards and just set up our deck as consistently as possible. Playing a 4-3 line of Fearow, pretty much just because I don't have 4 Fearow. And we're playing 3 copies of Victini from Guardians Rising. This Victini has an ability called Victory Star that if you attack and flip a coin, you may once per turn reflip that coin, but you must take the new result. This means that your 50% chance of Fly succeeding turns into a 75% chance because you have 2 coin flips, which is super duper awesome and super duper cool. It helps give you immunity that much more. You unfortunately can't use more than 1 Victory Star ability, meaning that only 1 can be active even if you have 2 on the board at one time. That doesn't mean you get a reflip twice. A little bit of a bummer, but what can you do? We're going to be playing cards like a Skateboard, which gives all of our Pokemon free retreat, since every single one of our Pokemon has a retreat cost of 1, as well as Choice Band to boost the damage output of our Fearow to 70 with Fly or 90 with Drill Peck if it really comes down to it. Our supporter line is going to be 3 Sycamore, 3 N, 1 Guzma, and of course 4 VS Seeker, because if you're an expanded, why not play VS Seeker? This just gives us some added consistency. I would maybe say you cut Shaman for either a 4th Fearow or a 4th N. I think N is really good just because you don't want to discard in this deck if you don't have to, but still, 3-3. We're playing 4 copies of Ultra Ball and 4 copies of Level Ball just to search out our Pokemon as consistently as possible. With the exception of Shaman and Tapu Lele, Level Ball searches out everything in the deck, and Ultra Ball gets the 2 that Level Ball doesn't get, as well as everything that Level Ball gets. So it's just nice. 2 copies of Adventure Bag, allowing us to search out our tool cards when we need them, get our skateboards up and running, and get our choice bands up and running. Very, very nice. And 2 copies of Eco Arm, just to get our tool cards back if we lose them. 2 rescue stretchers and 2 special charge help us get our finite resources back with 3 Fearow and not a 4th one. That means that your resources are even more limited and your Fearow are even more prone to being in the prizes. So you want your rescue stretchers to get them back as consistently as possible. And we're playing 6 special energy, being 4 DCE and 2 triple acceleration energy, so we want to get those back as much as possible too, and that's what special charge is for. Triple acceleration energy is nice because it acts as a DCE for the turn, and also in a very Clutch Way rather, can help you use Drill Peck if you just need to do that extra bit of damage, which is always kind of nice. So how do I rate this deck? Unfortunately, I gotta give it a big old donut. Fearow is going to be the first Pokemon we look at that is neglected in the TCG. Not a lot of people are fans of Fearow, so not a lot of people are going to be interested in playing Fearow in a deck. All this being said, while it does have some interesting gimmicks, its gimmick isn't good enough to compete. We saw with Butterfree, you're accelerating 3 energy onto the board. We saw with Beedrill, you're taking a lot of prizes and giving up very little. We saw with Raticate, you're knocking your opponent down to 10 HP and then poisoning them or something and finishing the job. Or its Alolan form had a very niche matchup in the metagame where it could take down one of the best decks in format due to its gimmick of being an Alolan Pokemon. Fearow doesn't have anything like that working for it. The best it has is it discards energy sometimes, but most of the time it's special energy and it's still on a coin flip. It's not just discard the energy, which is brutal. You're doing low amounts of damage and have mediocre effects, which just leads Fearow to not be the best Pokemon ever. All that being said, still managed to get some games and still managed to get some wins, so let's go ahead and get into the game and I can show you guys just how this deck works. Alrighty guys, getting into the video here for ya, or to the game rather. We're going to be going to the expanded format, of course, and we're going to be playing against a Charizard deck, kind of. Our opponent's deck seems like a theme deck with a little bit of extra cards added to it, but considering the deck we're playing, that's pretty fine by me. We're going to go ahead and get a Jirachi onto the board, just trying to get as set up as possible. And we're going to do some roundabout ways of using a Sycamore after Jirachi in the active, and it's a whole thing. And we're going to be digging through our deck as much as possible, getting all of our pieces moving and on the field. We've got 3 Jirachis on the board, meaning we've got 3 potential Stellar Wishes per turn. And we've got 2 Spearows on the bench. It is looking good. We do have 1 Fearow in the prizes, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it's fine. So we're going to be able to use Rescue Stretcher to just get a Fearow out of our discard pile so that we have both of our playable Fearows on the board right now. And we're going to use Jirachi, just kind of switch around, do Jirachi things, just try and get things, like I said, move in as much as possible, and we're going to switch into a Fearow and start the fly shenanigans. Now, the rest of the game is pretty straightforward. We basically fly until we get knocked out. I don't really know what else to say. I kind of want to let the game speak for itself. We're going to keep on just flying. Our opponent isn't going to attack into us on the turns we have immunity, of course, which is fine because they don't need to. There will be a couple turns where you see Victini come into play, where you first flip tails and then we flip heads and then fly comes through. Sorry that Fearow's just enlarged the whole time. I just didn't take my mouse off Fearow, I guess. So we're going to keep flying, and there you saw Victini came into play. We would have flipped tails and then been useless. We're just going to keep on doing a little bit of damage. So at this point, I'm playing draw supporters just so that I can hope to find my choice bands. We hit an adventure bag, so we're able to get 2 choice bands on board. On the off chance that my opponent is playing some sort of field blower or something, I just don't really want to put down both of my choice bands that I have in my hand. I search my deck using Level Ball, trying to see if I have a Rescue Stretcher. I do not, and I know that I don't have another Fearow. So we're just going to go into this Fearow and hope that it lives. Our opponent plays a Mars and discards a VS Seeker from our hand, which is a little bit unfortunate, but we're just going to keep on playing the long game and try and knock out our opponent's tag teams. Now, luckily, we do have Guzma in the discard pile, and we are going to be able to Guzma up this Reshiram and Charizard tag team, use Jirachi, do our thing, and just take another knockout. And I'm really hoping I hit Fearow off the prizes here. This lets me get another one as reassurance, or as some insurance rather, and not only do we hit Fearow, but we hit a double colorless as well, giving us an energy to charge up with that Fearow, and we also hit a triple acceleration energy too, which is not too shabby. We're just going to continue our immunity raid, just keep on flipping coins and flipping heads due to Victini. while our opponent is unable to do anything. I guess they're not playing Guzma, but it's fine because we are, and we're going to be able to knock out the second tag team by the end of the game. We're just going to discard. I'm just trying to see what we have in deck, see if we have our less VS Seeker there or not. We do, so I'm going to Guzma, go into Jirachi, and use Jirachi to dig through the last 5 cards to hit that VS Seeker. And it's now that we see Drill Peck come into play, funny enough, and we're going to do 90 damage just putting this Sneevee in range, Snorlax and Eevee tag team, in range of either a Fly or another Drill Peck. We do have the VS Seeker in hand, so we're just going to promote Jirachi, get Guzma, attach a DCE, and attack with Drill Peck for the game. Thank you guys so much for watching. That was our episode on Fearow. Let me know what you think of Fearow down in the comment section below, and let me know how you would build a Fearow card if you were in charge of Fearow for the TCG. Next episode, we're going to be taking a look at Arbok and seeing what we can do with it. Until next time, my name is Levi Adams with Team TC, and I'll catch you guys then.
Hey everyone, this is Ash Ketchum. Thanks for watching Team TC. Make sure to subscribe and become part of the team, and join us on our journey to become Pokemon Masters. Ha!